Hey everyone, welcome to the 6th day of Doing It video week. It is the day before my book comes out. My book, it comes out tomorrow. Like, what? Oh my god. I don't really know what to do with myself. It's going to be absolutely insane seeing this in bookshops. Don't forget that I am celebrating my book launch by doing a live stream here on my YouTube channel tomorrow until 5 p.m. UK time. I will be tweeting out the links and everything, and there'll be loads of guest contributors who wrote pieces for the book there as well. There'll be a chance for you to ask any questions that you have, and also for us all just to kind of mark this occasion. So yeah, I hope that I see some of you guys there tomorrow, and also next week I'm going on tour. I'm going on tour with my friend Lucy Moon. We are doing London on the 11th, Birmingham on the 12th, and Manchester on the 13th of April. And you can get tickets now. I will leave a link in the description. Also, I'm going to be at VidCon Amsterdam this weekend, so if you see me there, please say hi. I hope some of you have got meet and greet tickets. I'm doing a bunch of panels, and I am hosting the main stage on Saturday night. So, should be fun. So this is the last video in Doing It week. I really hope that you have enjoyed these daily videos. I really enjoy making them. I did a 8-video daily stint for Vlognica last year, and I'm hoping to find some other occasions throughout the year to do kind of small stints of daily videos. So let me know in the comments if you have any ideas of what events I should do those around. But yeah, in this final video, I thought I would talk about what I would do differently if I was writing this book now. So I actually wrote the bulk of this book last summer. I wrote the first draft, the first manuscript, in July, August and September. Those are the main months that I was working on it. And since then it's gone through lots of re-edits and shuffling stuff around and deleting bits. But the bulk of this was written last summer, and a lot has changed since then. And so I wanted to talk about things that I would do differently in terms of topics that I would want to add to the book. Things that I didn't cover in the book that once it was too late, I was like, damn it, I should have mentioned this, or I should have talked about this. So basically this video is, if I were to get a second edition, these are the new things that I would add to it. The first thing is more stuff on disability and sex. So my friend Ricky Pointer, who is deaf, wrote a piece for the book about consent and deafness. But that's the only representation of disability and sex that is in the book. And I really wish there was more, and it just didn't even occur to me beforehand. And I feel awful, but that's kind of what happens when you are able-bodied. Like, it's not even something that crosses your mind. But I've met some really interesting people recently and seen people talk on panels about disability and sex, and that is a perspective that I would love to include in the book if I was writing it again now. So not just deafness, but a whole range of physical disabilities, because disabled people have sex. It's a thing. They have sex. Another thing that I would want to include is mental health and relationships. So there's loads of social activism around sex and relationships, and there's loads of social activism around mental health. But I don't really see all that much about putting the two together. But really there is a lot of crossover, and there's a lot of importance in showing how the two interact with each other. For instance, what do you do if your partner has depression or anxiety? Or what do you do if you're in a relationship and you are the one that is depressed and you don't know how to interact with your partner because of your mental health? I just think there's so much to cover in terms of how mental health can affect your love life and how your love life can affect your mental health. There is one resource that I know about, but I would love to hear if you know of any, and that is the Madly in Love section on themix.org.uk. And basically in this section it's like loads of people's stories about their love life and mental health. So there's depression, anxiety affecting my relationship, my boyfriend and our mental health, my girlfriend is dealing with anxiety, my ex-girlfriend tried to commit suicide, and loads of other stories from real people sharing their experiences with relationships and mental health. So if you're interested in that, I would check that out. Another thing that doesn't really get a look in my book that I would love to include now is discharge and thrush, because those things are not really talked about enough, are they? I would definitely want to include lots of information about what they are, how to deal with them, is it normal, all of that stuff. Next, I would want to write about pregnancy. Now, obviously I couldn't do it in this book because this book is aimed at younger people, so we kind of thought it wasn't really relevant to them, despite the fact that teenage pregnancy, like, is a thing and people in their 20s get pregnant. It just didn't really fit with the rest of the tone of the book at all. But if I was writing a similar book that was aged up slightly more, then I would definitely want to include stuff on pregnancy and also on parenthood. I would also want to include things on miscarriage. I don't have any personal experience with any of these things because I have never been pregnant, but I would want to include the stories of others who have and talk about that a bit more and the realities of being pregnant and what the hell happens and what that is. Ugh. So the first section in the book is about healthy relationships, and I talk about what healthy relationships look like and what unhealthy relationships look like, and then there is a bit from my perspective where I talk about being single. If I were to write this book now, however, I would include a personal anecdotal section on being in a relationship and what's that like, because I am now in like my first proper like adult relationship that I've been in 6 years, and so it's, you know, a learning experience. And if I was to write something like this now, I would want to include a lot of stuff on that and things that I've learned and how I found it and like that transition and like learning how to be in a relationship again and all of that stuff, and kind of like what my idea of what a relationship was versus the reality of it. I would definitely include like some personal stuff about relationships. When I was putting together all of the LGBTQ plus voices that I wanted in my book, I didn't realise until it was too late that I actually didn't have a trans male voice in the book. There are stories from 2 trans women in the book, and Rowley, who is gender fluid, uses they pronouns and him, he, but I didn't include any perspectives of F to M trans, so female to male. I did actually reach out to some of my FTM friends, but they were too busy and couldn't get me the pieces in time, so it didn't work out, but I would definitely try harder and make more of a point of getting that other perspective in the book too. This other thing that I would also want to include also comes down to the fact that it's not the right age for the book currently, but I would want to include loads of kinky stuff, like really get into BDSM, what a healthy subdom relationship is, sadomasochism, bondage, like all of this stuff. I would love to explore all of that and have people write guest pieces who are in the kink community and things like that. Ultimately, kink kind of gets mentioned a bit in the book, but it's a lot softer because the book is aimed at 14 plus and it is published under a children's publisher, so that kind of wasn't gonna fly, which is fine. That's just something that I would like to explore more in terms of writing about in the future. And finally, the final, probably most important thing that I would include in this book if I were to be writing it now, and that is the fact that the government announced that they are going to be making sex and relationships education compulsory in all schools in the UK, or in England. I think it's in England. So this includes relationships education in primary school and then relationships and sex education in secondary school. And this includes free schools and academies as well. And I'm pretty sure in the introduction to this book, it's like, sex education isn't compulsory in the UK. Well, now it is. Well, from September 2019. By the time the government announced that, this book had already gone to print. So good timing, government. Thanks a lot. No, seriously, thank you. If I was writing this now, knowing that in 2 years' time, relationships and sex education would be on the curriculum, I would probably write like a mini manifesto in it in terms of what should be covered in schools and what kids should be taught at like all the different ages of like primary school up until secondary school. To be honest, I think that this in itself is a great education tool for secondary schools, sixth form and university. So government, if you need any help writing a curriculum, like hit me up. Just get your people to talk to my people. We'll sort it out. And that's it really. Those are all of the things that I would include in this book if I were to be writing it now, things I would do differently. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I really hoped you enjoyed this Doing It video week. Book is out tomorrow. The live stream is tomorrow. VidCon Amsterdam is this weekend. Doing It live tour is next week. And then I'm taking a weekend off. But seriously, thank you guys so much for all of your support. To everyone who has pre-ordered the book so far, I can't believe it. Tomorrow is going to be just an overwhelming day. I just know it is. I can feel it. It's happening. Bye!